Back then, they were screaming at me, Sandman. But I didn't know what the hell Sandman was. They're like, Sandman. I go, what the f*** did I say? Sandman.
When you were growing up, in what ways was the kitchen kind of your first stage and your family your first audience?
So yeah, for your viewers, we're in the house that I grew up in. Right behind me is kind of where we gathered as a family. This house in particular was the house that everybody gathered at. My friends sat around this table talking to my parents. My parents were like the cool parents that like my friends wanted to talk to. Like, what's your dad and mom doing? And they would have everybody over. We had food here. We would be standing up in the kitchen. I'd come home from school, sit at that kitchen table and tell my family, you know, what went on in school. I felt like I had a unique take on observing a situation and then bringing it back home and giving kind of my point of view or spin on what I saw at school. And we were a type of family that we were at the kitchen table for hours sometimes, just hanging out. It was more, I don't know, I look forward to it. Like, oh, it's dinner time.
So why would you used to have your cousin tape HBO stand-up specials for you?
We didn't have cable here. We had just local TV, 2, 5, 7, and 9, or whatever it was at the time. And cable back then was where you saw, you know, Dangerfields, Night at the Improv, and every Saturday I used to go over to my uncle's house, and I used to watch this like game tape. I used to sit in the basement and just watch comedian after comedian after comedian. And I was always fascinated with them. I just, for whatever the reason, I always looked at them when I went, wow, how do they memorize all that? I love to laugh. My father and I would watch Johnny Carson at night. The comedian would come on. Back then, used to have 8 minutes of material, and Don Rickles would come on. I was all about humor growing up. And however I could consume it, I wanted more of it. You know, if there was a record or something that came out, a comedian, whether it be Carlin or Murphy or anybody, I would want to get that and listen to it. I would come home for lunch and watch Three's Company and watch John Ritter. Like everybody else was going to Taco Bell, I'm over here watching Three's Company. Just always loved to laugh and always fascinated with not only stand-up but comedic actors.
What do you remember from doing your book report on Stevie Wonder?
Even that. So I was like, I'm doing a Stevie Wonder book report. I felt like when I was in school and I was watching people give the book report, I was upset that they didn't take the time to like entertain the class. Like,
really?
Yeah, I was looking to get, like, we're all bored out of our mind here, right? We're listening to 25 book reports. Somebody's got to go up there and get this, you know, get it going. So I would watch the people do the book report, and I'm like, I can't wait to get up there. I'm gonna make the class laugh. I felt if I make the class laugh, they would look past the fact that I didn't really even read the book, you know, or read the Stevie Wonder story. I felt like humor substituted for lack of effort in school. All right. So,
and did you find that to be true?
I found it to be, you know, somewhat accurate, that if you make people laugh, they forget maybe about whatever it is that you're there for.
Although maybe not at Northern Illinois, right? Because you had like a 1.2 or 1.4 GPA.
Yeah, for freshman.
How is that even possible?
It's very possible. It's I went to college. I was completely stunned. I was first time away from home, living with a strange roommate. Just couldn't click into the academics of it all. It was kind of a shock for me. I called my father. I said, I want to quit. I want to get out of here. I can't. This is not for me. Him and my mother got on the phone, and to their credit said, just stay, just get the degree, and then whatever you want to do after that, you could do. Because I was going to, at 18, 19, I think it was 19, I was going to quit school and go into stand-up then. My whole goal was to go into stand-up. It was just, I don't know when it was going to happen.
And you knew Going back to even when you were in like second grade,
Yeah.
that was what you wanted to do.
At career day, they went around and asked everybody what they wanted to be when they grow up, and I said I want to be a comedian. And the teacher laughed, and because everybody was a fireman, this, then, I want to be a comedian. Because I was watching comedy back then at that age, and I just had a hard time adjusting to college life, and then I then picked it up. I joined a fraternity, and I got involved with the fraternity in a way where no one wanted to be the president. And I just am the type of guy, like, I don't want to see things fail. If I have to step in to do this because nobody else wants to do it, I'll do it. Plus, selfishly, the meetings gave me an audience to perform in front of. So
And you were conscious of that even then?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to do stuff at this. Like, I wanted, like, a lot of people weren't coming to the chapter meetings on Mondays. They'd blow them off. But when I started doing the chapter meetings, it was funny, and people would look forward to them because what I was going to say or do. I threw myself into that, and my grades were not fabulous. I graduated with, I think, a 2.8. I think it was 2.7 out of 4, coming out of the basement at 1.2.
Yeah. What stands out from that stand-up contest you won, and then subsequently headlining at a local comedy venue?
So I signed up for the contest at school to open up for the headlining comedian that was coming to Northern Illinois University. So I did the audition process in front of like students, and I won, and I did the opening act for the comedian and got basically booed off stage. It was a primarily black audience, and back then they were screaming at me, "Sandman," but I didn't know what the hell Sandman was. They're like, "Sandman," I go, "What the f*** are they saying, Sandman?" Apparently Sandman is from the Apollo, where if you suck at the Showtime at the Apollo, the Sandman used to come out and like take you off with a hook. So they were screaming Sandman, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know what. Am I doing good? I don't know.
And you remember actually thinking?
I was thinking, I'm dying up here.
But you could feel it.
I could feel it, but I didn't know exactly what the Sandman thing was until later. But I wasn't discouraged by that experience. I just was like, I belong up here. I just know that I have to give it some time and practice. I knew I was cut out for doing. I just knew I was going to be a comedian. I just knew it, and nothing was going to really distract me from it.
Did you feel that you were going to be successful at it, or you just knew that was what you wanted to do?
I knew I was funny. I knew I had something. I didn't know I was going to be doing, what I'm doing now. I just knew that if I put the time in and I practiced this, I could make a living making people laugh. That's what I thought.